Hey, my name is Jackson with Ivy League Autos. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, I want to thank you for clicking on this video. What we do here, we compare trim levels of new cars, kind of equip you with some knowledge before you head to the dealership. Make sure you kind of know exactly what you're looking for when you're comparing the different models. Know what you should expect to pay, what features different trim levels have, what features you can live with, which ones you can live without. So you really are an educated buyer when you're headed to the dealership. Today we are looking at the 2021 Mazda CX-30. This is Mazda's newest crossover. A little background on this car. So Mazda has the CX-3, which is kind of their subcompact crossover. They have their CX-5, which is a little bit bigger. And then they have this, which is kind of right in the middle there. It's kind of that sweet spot. It's not as small as the CX-3, and it's a little bit more well equipped than the CX-3, and it's a little bit smaller than the CX-5. So, especially if you live in downtown city, or you drive in the city a lot, around a lot of traffic and things like that, it's going to be a lot easier to maneuver in and out of traffic, in and out of those tight parking spots than, say, like, a bigger CX-5. So the CX-30, if you are cross-shopping this with a Mazda 3, which, believe it or not, is not a crazy thing to think. I mean, I know this is a crossover. The Mazda 3 hatchback is a car. These are very, very similar cars. If you are comparing those, feel free to check out my Mazda 3 video where we did something very similar, went through the trim levels. If you've seen that video, you will notice that these are very, very similar. The equipment is pretty much the same. The interior looks very, very similar. Even the exterior front end looks pretty much the same. That rear quarter panel area looks a little bit different, but outside of that, I mean, this is pretty much a tall Mazda 3 hatchback. There is a little more interior volume compared to the Mazda 3 hatchback, and then a little higher ground clearance, obviously. If you're somebody that likes to go on trails or take, have to take dirt roads places a lot, you may appreciate that slightly higher ground clearance with pretty similar driving dynamics to the Mazda 3 hatchback, which Mazda is definitely known for their driving dynamics. So that's a little background. That's kind of why, maybe why you're looking at this car, and maybe another option if you wanted something with similar features, similar interior space, similar quality, everything like that. You might look at the Mazda 3 hatchback if that's something you haven't, considered already, if you don't mind the lower ground clearance. So we will get into this. So the CX-30 comes in 4 different trim levels. Starting all the way on the left here, you can see our 2.5S. That's going to be kind of the base model, lowest trim that you can get, the cheapest, starting price, obviously. Next, we're going to go up Select, Preferred, and Premium. If you're familiar with Mazda's nomenclature for their models, pre-2019, basically, or even some of their other models, you would know that they used to go with Sport as kind of their base model, then Touring, then Grand Touring was kind of the top of the line. They're shifting in kind of a different direction now. So now we've got Select, Preferred, and Premium is kind of the hierarchy of the trim levels there, with Premium being the top of the line, fully optioned version. So what do you get with the CX-30? Well, all are going to come with that 186 horsepower, 2.5 liter Skyactiv G 4-cylinder. Same engine that's in the Mazda 3, same engine that's in the Mazda 6, same engine that's in the Mazda CX-5. So this is a very common engine for Mazda. They are, it's been around for a while. It's tried and true. It's a solid engine in terms of performance, reliability, efficiency, all the important things that you're looking for. From what I understand, power is ample in these cars. It's not gonna, knock your socks off with speed. It does have more power than some of the other offerings in the segment, with 186 horsepower. If you're comparing this to, say, like a Nissan Rogue or a Honda HR-V, This is definitely going to have a little bit more power, but that being said, it's not a fast or performance car by any stretch of the imagination. So you've got front wheel drive and all wheel drive as options on all trim levels. So that's kind of nice. You can get all wheel drive equipped even with the very, very base model, which is not the case with the Mazda 3. You have to step up to at least the Select trim. Mazda Connected Services, that's their telematics. That's going to be standard across the board. This is where we see our first major difference here. The premium trim level is the only one that offers the Bose 12-speaker premium audio system. This is, they went so far and beyond with engineering everything on these automobiles, but this 12-speaker audio system by Bose is amazing. They basically took the speakers from the door to, you know, typically cars will have the bigger speakers in the bottom of the door. Well, that requires them to cut a hole in the actual frame of the door to allow that speaker to fit in there. That's going to impact some rigidity. That's going to create a little bit more road noise. So what they did, they moved that to the footwell for the driver and the passenger, cutting down on some of that vibration and harshness from the road and some of that road noise, and just really giving a superior sound. So this is something, if you enjoy listening to music in your car, I think most of us do, this is something that you really want to consider as something that's important to you if you're looking at this vehicle. Something else that's really important, especially to myself and I think a lot of younger buyers, this Android Auto Apple CarPlay integration, it's huge. Being able to plug your phone in, use your phone, use your car infotainment system like your phone, you know, using Google Maps, Waze, Spotify, Pandora, whatever apps you like to use on your phone, you can just project them onto the screen as opposed to, I'm not going to get that much into it. Everybody knows kind of, you know, Apple CarPlay. But it eliminates the need for a factory navigation system, which you'll see the factory navigation's not included with anything except the premium trim. And so it's going to save you some money, and honestly, you probably won't even use the factory navigation if you have the Apple CarPlay. All right, blind spot monitoring, important safety tech. That's starting on the Select trim. Radar cruise control, they include that across the board. Amazing that they did that. Rear power lift gate. So this is something I've heard kind of mixed reviews about power lift gates. Some people love to have them. It's kind of a luxury feature, right? You don't have to manually open and close the rear hatch. Some people don't prefer that because they like to open and close the hatch a little faster. That's fine. But just know, if you get the premium, you're going to get the power lift gate. If you get one of the lower trims, it's a manually adjusted manually lifted power lift gate. Headlights, LED headlights across the board. The premium trim adds the signature LED, little different looking headlight with the adaptive front lighting system. And this is where when you go around the corners, the headlight kind of follows you. So it's a little bit of a safety feature and just really a nice feature to have. It's kind of a almost a luxury level feature to have. Same thing when we get to exterior features. Again, LED lighting across the board, but the premium trim adds the signature LED headlights and the signature LED combination taillights. It's just going to be something that makes it look a little nicer, makes it a little bit more distinctive compared to the other trim levels. As far as side mirrors, it's got, on the preferred and premium trim, it's got a tilt and reverse function. If you're somebody that backs into parking spots on a regular basis, or you know, tries to line your car up in parking spots, this is a super convenient feature. Trying to back up and into a parallel parking spot and not curb your wheels or something, that's a nice feature to have. Again, that's preferred and premium trims that include that. Rear privacy glass, so meaning that there's some tint from the factory on the back windows, so kind of cutting down on, you know, temperature inside the car. Maybe if you wanted to keep valuable things in the back, it's going to come with that tint from the factory, from the Select model up. And then if you're somebody that likes to have a sunroof, I love having a sunroof. Preferred and premium trims, you're going to have to get at least preferred to get that sunroof. And then again, rear power liftgate and roof rails are included on the premium trim. So again, I mentioned, this is something maybe if you're somebody that likes to do outdoor things or go to hiking trails, or, use this if you're an active person. Roof rails are really nice to have. You can, strap kayaks up there, snowboards, whatever. So it kind of adds some utility there. We got alloy wheels across the board, which is nice. A lot of manufacturers on their base models will have steel wheels with plastic wheel covers, and it just looks cheap in my opinion. But it's nice that Mazda, even though they're a little bit smaller, they do include alloy wheels across the board. Even though they're a little bit smaller on the base trim, they do include the alloy wheels. So good stuff there. Now we get to the exterior colors that are offered. As you can see, if you're getting the base model, I hope you like white or black, because those are your only options there. Once we get to the Select trim, we add some nicer color options. This Soul Red Crystal Metallic, amazing looking color. I think it looks great. And then if you go up to the Premium trim, you're going to be able to add this Polymetal Gray Metallic, which I talked about this in my Mazda 3 video. Beautiful color. I think it looks amazing. Just looks really unique. Makes the lines on the car just pop. And it's just unique, and it's also one of those things that could impact resale value down the road, right? If it's a rare special color on one of these specific trim levels. All right, we get to comfort and convenience, and this is where the trim levels really kind of start to differentiate themselves. So you've got driver and passenger side illuminated covered visor vanity mirrors on the preferred and premium. Looks like you don't get that with the base model or the Select. Rear air conditioning vents are offered on the Select and up. So anybody with kids it's going to have people riding in the back seat, those rear air conditioning vents are huge. It makes a big difference for passenger comfort back there, especially if you got like a small child or something that's sitting back there. You don't want them to be sweating or freezing when it's not ideal temperatures outside. Let's see, what else do we have here? Heated seats. This might be another big one. So if you want the heated seats, you're going to be looking preferred or premium. And then the last thing that premium adds is paddle shifters. Maybe not super important in a car like this, but it's one of those things that kind of looks cool. It's kind of a nice thing to have, I guess. As far as storage, and I noticed this on the Mazda 3 as well. For some reason, the overhead console with sunglass holder is only offered in the preferred and premium. So I guess if, sunglass storage is important to you, you got to go preferred or premium there. Now, as far as seating and trim, again, we talk about, interior and kind of some luxury upscale features here. You're going to get cloth seats in the base model. That's pretty standard. You're going to get leatherette trim sport seats on the Select or the preferred. Probably going to be fine for most people. It's not as luxurious per se as like a actual leather trim seats like you get in the premium, but still not bad. I'd prefer the leatherette to the cloth. Generally just easier to clean and maintain than cloth in my opinion. Leather wrapped steering wheel, again, that's Select and up. If you don't get the leather wrapped steering wheel, it's kind of a rubberized feeling steering wheel and just kind of feels cheap, but that might be a preference thing. And then again, those heated front seats. Another thing, if you want the 8-way power driver's seat, so a little more adjustability, you're going to want to go with the preferred and the premium. So you're kind of seeing a theme here. The Select is absolutely going to give you all of the driving dynamics, all of the safety features. But if you really want more of those comfort, convenience, tech features, you're probably going to want to go with the preferred or the premium model. Audio and infotainment. Again, it's amazing that they offer Apple CarPlay integration and Android Auto across the board. That's a big one. A lot of manufacturers might make you pay extra for that. The premium adds satellite radio. If that's something that's important to you, you're somebody like satellite radio, you'll be looking at the premium trim there. And then painted speaker grills. That's just something that makes the interior feel a little bit more upscale. And again, that's going to come with that Bose 12 speaker audio system there. I'll have that 8.8 inch center display. Like we mentioned, the premium adds a navigation system with CarPlay and Android Auto. Probably not going to even use that factory navigation system, but it's still nice to have that kind of that embedded navigation system. But personally, if it were me, it's not something I'd necessarily need to pay extra for. Now, the premium trim also is going to add this windshield projected full color active driving display. That's a fancy way of saying a heads-up display. And that's a pretty cool feature to have. Some people really don't like it, think that it gets in the way while they're driving of their sight. It really just enables you to see kind of the speed you're going without having to look down at the speedometer and take your eyes off the road. Mazda is really big on that, connected driver and really removing a lot of those distractions that you have to have when you're driving. In a lot of other cars, they try to minimize the distraction as much as possible. And that heads-up display is kind of a way of doing that. Also adds traffic sign recognition. And then here, when we get to the interior color options, so again, preferred and premium adds some more, I guess, luxurious type features. So if you're not really a fan of that black interior, you want something a little bit different, you've got a grayish leatherette, just gray, mixture of gray and beige there, available in that preferred trim. And then the premium adds this super nice looking white leather. Mixed reviews on the white leather. If you have kids or animals, or you're going to be having a lot of use on these seats, you might think about getting the black leather over the white leather. And that's just because that white leather might show some scuffs and stains and discoloration over time a little bit more than the black leather would. So that's just something to think about, even though I think the white leather looks really good and it's something that really sets this car apart. I think for me personally, I'm kind of bored with black leather interiors or black interiors in general. And I always love when manufacturers make an effort to kind of add that extra pop or that something that just really makes it look a little bit different and a little more special. Again, engines, we're looking at that 186 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque from the Skyactiv G 2.5 4-cylinder. Good engine, ample power. And just kind of some tech specs. Look, here's the, you're going to get about 28 miles per gallon combined. That's pretty good fuel economy for a small crossover, especially if you're going to get, the all-wheel drive with 26. That's still pretty good for the amount of capability that gives you. And 6-speed automatic transmission across the board. And that will sum up our comparison of the 2021 Mazda CX-30 trim levels there. Hopefully that helps if you are in the market for a CX-30, or hopefully just quelled some questions that you might have had about the different trim levels that are offered here. My personal recommendation, I think most buyers are going to find the sweet spot with that Select or that preferred trim. Again, the main difference being there, that preferred over the Select is going to add the heated seats, the power adjustable seats, the sunroof. So if that stuff's important to you, that might justify that price difference there. It looks like it's about a $2,400 price difference between the two there. And then stepping up to that premium, again, it's just a little bit more special. You get that 12-speaker Bose audio system that I've heard amazing reviews about. You get the genuine leather, you get the heads-up display. So you get a lot more of the luxury. You get the power lift gate, right? So that premium is really, if you're, cross shopping this, you're thinking, do I want to get a luxury brand, or do I want to get something that's maybe a little bit less expensive, but it's still going to offer me all of the convenience and, you know, premiumness of something like that? Then I think this premium trim, no pun intended there, I think this premium trim is a good option for that. But realistically, you know, average buyer going into a Mazda dealership, especially trying to keep the cost down a little bit, you're probably going to be fine with that preferred trim. It's the leatherette seats versus the leather, and, you know, not having the heads-up display, not having the power lift gate, but still a really good car across the board. It's still, you can get all-wheel drive with any of these models if that's something that's important to you. The engine is the same across the board. The fuel economy is the same across the board. So it really comes down to the convenience, the luxury, the premium features that you want over the other trims. But even base model, I'm just amazed. Mazda well equips these vehicles, and honestly, with the price point, the amount of quality they put into these vehicles is top notch, and I don't think you're going to be dissatisfied with any model that you get. So again, thanks for watching. If this helped you out, I hope you like the video. That helps out our channel quite a bit. If you like videos like this, feel free to subscribe. We're uploading new videos all the time. Thanks for watching. Take care.